Welcome back, everybody, to our series on how we're rebuilding our Dinghy website. Last time we left off talking about structured content for the third time, and we made up the structure of one project that we wanted to showcase on our website. Quick reminder that looked like this. Let's go into the studio real quick. So here's a project. I added a first one. Just going to close all of this down. As we can see, we have everything in place now. We have all of our SEO fields like meta title description, sharing image. We have the URL slug. We have intro. We linked it up to our company collection so we can grab the logo and the website URL for Relayer from here. We have a summary, the cover image, additional visuals, challenge and solution is its own thing. How long did the project take? 3 months. We're still on with them on a continuous basis. Then we have a bunch of tags. We saw tags before, also using them here. Same thing for tools. Those are the same tools that I've been using on the tech stack page over here. So we're just linking them up from this collection over here. Just can grab all the tools we used in that project from this collection, and so on and so forth. And what I wanted to show you today is, so down here we have a section that we call deliverables, and a deliverable, we just wanted to make it super clear what sort of deliverable did the client actually get out of this project. And we have 6 pieces here. As we can see, they have a title, an area of expertise, we learned about them before, a description, and then either an image or a video. And so on the front end, this looks like this. So we have all of those bits and pieces here. Here's the tags. We're not going to go through everything, but so we have the tools here, duration, objective and solution, project outcomes over here. And all of this renders super nicely. I'm very happy of how it turned out. And so down here, we have this deliverable section, and that is this carousel component, right? So, and we have a couple nice things in here. So these videos, they pause and play as the carousel makes this item active. You can also zoom them a little bit, click outside, it goes back. So if you swoosh this to the side, it closes down. But the design piece that I wanted to talk to you about today is the fact that the images and videos, they all have like a different aspect ratio. And I wanted them all to align on basically at the bottom of each image, right? So they all have like a central line in the middle, and then against that we have the text content and the area of expertise here. So you can imagine this design having like a horizontal line going through here, and at which we want to align everything. And that is actually kind of hard to do up until now, as I learned. So I'm just going to show you how it looked before I found a super easy solution that I'm going to show you then as well. So before, and as it always happens with CSS, stuff aligns at the top, right? So here, this text gets pushed down because this image is taller. This one, well, is not as tall and therefore doesn't take as much space, and the text comes up. So, and we can see all the text is now, well, not on this line. And to make this super clear, I can just, like draw like a border around the image, maybe, or around the box that is hosting this image. I'm just going to make it like a visible color so we can see this here. This box is exactly the size of the image, and that's taller. This one is also the size of the image, but it's, well, not as tall. And so what I tried as a first approach is to give this box like a fixed size. So let's say like a square, and now it does look similar, right? Like those are more or less on one line. We could fix that issue. But my problem with this approach is, so I told all of these images to move down in the box. But my problem is that it's not very flexible. Like what I actually want is that the tallest image in here defines the size of all of the items in the carousel. But currently, and as CSS goes usually, this item, like this entire carousel item, it doesn't know what the size of the next one is, or that one. Like they all kind of exist in their own space, so to say. And so this is just a guesstimate, right? I'm just putting this in a square as like my best guess of what this image might be. But if I, for example, stick an image in here that's more of a portrait format, it's going to break out of the box and it's a whole mess. So luckily, I just remembered that Tailwind CSS, were one of these Tailwind people, they just came out with an update where Tailwind supports subgrid. And so let me show you what that means. Let's like get this thing out of here again. And let's put the changes back that we had before. Let's get this border out of here as well. So that is all gone. Perfecto. And now we can see that the element that hosts all of the individual items, that is already on a grid, and we're creating as many columns of 100% width each for all the items that go in there. So we don't really have to care about this so much. But what I actually want, so subgrid is always a little hard to explain, but what I really want is we have in each item of the carousel, we have one item, the image, then we have this piece of content with the icon and the text that sits below the image, then we have the headline and we have the text. So we have 4 elements in each of those, only that they have different heights, right? And I want those rows in each of them to relate to each other. So they kind of have to know what the others do so they can line up. And I'm going to show you in Chrome Inspector real quick. So what I did is that with this piece of code here, I'm saying I need 4 rows, okay? And I want the first 3 to kind of, they define their height with their content. So because this headline can be 1 or 2 lines, or this image can be taller or less tall, I want the rows to shrink as far down as possible. But still, I want to define explicit rows. So this is 4. Just by me saying grid rows and then auto 3 times, and 1 FR is basically the rest of the space that's available. I'm defining 4 rows. And so now I'm doing this on the container, and that alone doesn't really do anything, because except that I'm creating a mess. So now it's actually putting the individual, like, so let's look at this. Let's look at this in the Chrome Inspector for a second. So if we check this out, what happened now here. So this is our wrapping element for the carousel. If we turn on the grid view here, we can see it made 4 rows. One's here, the next one is here and here and the last one. And so now it's just chucking the entire carousel item onto one row. And that's obviously not what we want. We want the contents of each item, so the image, the area of expertise, the headline, and the text, to share the rows of the container. And so less talking, more doing. I'm going to show you why this is so amazing. The only thing we have to do to tell all of the items, so I'm looping over the items here. It can be 2, it can be 12, doesn't matter. But so this is one of the carousel items, and I'm just telling it to, with this thing, it's called grid rows subgrid. And that, since this is a direct child of this containing element that has the grid rows defined, I'm telling it to pay attention to the grid definition of the parent element. And since this has 4 rows and I don't want the items to go on like rows below each other, I actually want the containing elements to go in the rows. I just have to tell it, so the item itself, please span all of the rows that are defined here, right? So each of the elements inside of one carousel element can go on these grid rows. So this is all very theoretical, but if we hit save, we go back to our beautiful state from before. And so what happened now, and that's the amazing part, I never used subgrid before, and just remember that it's out there and I wanted to use it today. So we have our grid. This is what it looks like. And as we can see, each of the items, so the grid goes through the entire containing element, and almost magically, I have to say, it's like, I don't know, this, as soon as this started working this afternoon, I knew I had to share it with you, because like, to me, this is so amazing. That wasn't possible to do in CSS alone before there was subgrid. All of the elements now share the same grid definition and kind of tell each other, inform each other. Like here, this text, for example, is the tallest. So the last row is as high for all of them as it needs to be because of this one. And the same thing applies for the image up here. The entire first row is as high as the first element is, because there's subgrid. And that's just super amazing that we can do these things now. And I'm super happy how the design turned out. Hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think. And see you in the next one. Bye.